Welcome back to Optimize Health, where we're making easy, healthy, and delicious meals. Today we're making a healthier version of falafel that's going to be a batter with cauliflower, an almond flour-based flour blend. That's my proprietary blend. You should talk to your doctor, healthcare provider, or veterinarian to see if any of these recipes, suggestions, or contents of these videos are right for you. Nothing contained in these videos are intended to be taken as medical advice. Use at your own risk. We're going to add a little bit of kale for fun, along with the traditional herbs and spices that are included in this dish. So I've already measured out a 1-to-1 ratio of cauliflower to my flour. You can go ahead and use whatever flour blend you plan to use. We're always making low carb, gluten-free, keto, and often sugar-free meals here. So everything that I'm including is going to be as such. And I've also chopped up 1/4 of one small to medium sized onion and added about 1/4 cup each of parsley, cilantro, probably closer to about a tablespoon of cilantro, as well as dill, about a tablespoon. And I've added to my mixture for the batter here about 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of coriander, and 1 teaspoon of cumin. I like it a little more spiced up. And so I've kind of blended them together loosely. I'm going to include 2 eggs to bind everything. And I'm just going to blend this fresh herbs and onion up really quick here. Once I get it locked in here. Make sure that this all gets, it smells so good. And I love that there's a lot of health benefits to all of these herbs. I think it's really cool that it can potentially help with things like blood sugar control, as well as potentially blood pressure. They all have a lot of antioxidant capacity as well. Cilantro also has a special capability to help detoxify of heavy metals. And the onion, cilantro, parsley, dill, all of these, especially fresh, they are definitely really helpful with, as I mentioned, the antioxidants, but also anti-inflammatory, anti-infective. So it doesn't have to be too fine. I didn't add any moisture. This is all the natural vegetables. And so this should be really good for our batter here. So I like to use a lot of cauliflower in recipes because it's a good, high fiber. It's got a lot of vitamins and minerals. It's also quite neutral in taste, and there are a lot of benefits potentially for perimenopausal and menopausal women, with helping to balance hormones, helping to get rid of things that are like toxins through the liver and bile. And sometimes when we're having hormone imbalances, things like estrogen will build up too much. And the way that the estrogen is naturally cleared is going to be through the liver and bile. And cruciferous vegetables will help clear out anything the body is trying to get rid of. So I'm just going to mix this in and see what kind of texture we're going to get. I plan to add 2 eggs to this, but just depending on how it feels, you might want to add 1 large egg, or maybe even 3 small to medium eggs. We'll just have to see. I'm also preheating my pan with some coconut oil. And to make this a little healthier, instead of frying, we're not going to deep fry. I'm going to make smaller balls. So it's going to be a bite-sized falafel. And it's going to cook up a little bit easier in more shallow oil, and also be more like a pan fry version, where I think I put about 3 tablespoons of coconut oil in there for this whole batch. Hopefully I might have to add a little more toward the end, but that should really help to make it a little bit healthier. You could also consider baking these, but if you see more of my videos, I'm trying to make things a little easier and less involved. So I don't often turn the oven on. I do like Dutch oven, stovetop baking style. This is feeling really nice as a single, just adding that single egg. It's a little bit, sticky. It's coming together well. It's gonna form a nice little ball, and it's not too much liquid for this batter. Adding that second egg might make it a little too much. So I'm just gonna mix this in really well, and these smell really fantastic. So you can use like a little measuring ball if you'd like to shape them up, but I'm just gonna do it loosely. They don't have to be perfect. I'm gonna shape a few and I'll pop them in and show you how it works. Should be pretty quick. You want to watch for them to start browning up a little, and might roll them around a little bit in there, but I expect them to cook in a few minutes, given these are going to be smaller. You can certainly modify this recipe to make larger falafel, more traditional size, and you can deep fry them in whatever oil of your choice, or bake them. So I'm going to pop these in. So I have gas range. I'm using about a low medium, so between medium and low. That is giving us a good sound. That frying sound that you hear is a good sign that the oil's at the right temperature, so it's going to help to crisp the outside of what you are trying to fry. If you don't hear that, you might want to turn up the heat a little bit and wait, maybe 2 or 3 minutes before adding another one. And once you do hear the sound, then you know you're in the sweet spot. I don't want to turn it up much higher. The oil that I'm using is extra virgin coconut, and it does have a really good, stable quality, and it does, it's resistant to heat for the most part, but any oil at too high of a heat can become really unhealthy, and you don't want to be consuming like that sort of chemicals. They change the structure of the oil, and it makes it like damaging free radicals in the body. So I'm just gonna turn these, and they're starting to brown nicely. It's looking like it could be 1 or 2 minutes. A small batch here. I am just using just this small amount of oil, and they're gonna, I roll them a little bit, and they'll cook up just fine. Batch, I'm going to let them cook and brown up just a little more along the edges of the pan, and I'm going to add the next little batch here. And keep making them and putting them in there. Just a tip for when you're making your cauliflower. For a lot of my recipes, I like to use a really, it's a really dry cauliflower. It does help blend with the flour, blend really, really nicely. So the way we do it is we make sure it's dry when we're blending. We use the same little Cuisinart mini blender or mini food processor. You don't want to, you want to like blend it up and then put it in a storage container. I don't cook it, or like I try to keep it unfrozen as well, so that we don't get any changes in the texture that way. So usually I'll have some that's riced up or finely ground up for about 1 week, and it's been keeping pretty well that way, very cold in the fridge. And we make our own, so I don't buy like store-bought. I'm not sure if it could work. If you guys want to try it, and let us know. But I usually have it freshly riced, freshly minced from an organic cauliflower head. Just turning the other set to get them to cook a little more on the other side. Going on right over here. And the first batch is about ready to come out. They are still a little delicate, but they're kind of, because we don't have wheat flour, they can be a little delicate, and they can start to try to fall apart. That's one advantage of making them either a little smaller, or if you're going to make them really large, having some, a size in the middle can be a little challenging making this sort of recipe. But I also make donuts this way, and I'll share that recipe with you guys. So miniature size definitely helps. If you wanted to make a really large one, you'd have to use more oil. That's the only thing. And it may make more sense to use a different type of pan if you wanted to do that. So this is what our finished product looks like, and as it cools, it's gonna tighten up and not be as delicate and fragile, and you should be able to do all sorts of sandwiches and other things like salads or other recipes you use your falafel in. So I'm really excited to share this recipe and looking forward to any comments you have about it if you try it out. So please like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Thank you.